founders were not favorable to the idea of democracy, and they repudiated the term. Had you asked the American founders, hey, shouldn't we have a democracy? They would say, absolutely not. Too dangerous. That's mob rule. But they still wanted the participation of the people in their own government, which sounds to us like democracy, right? How do we make sense of all this? Well, they wanted the participation of people in their own government, but not in a direct and unmediated way. At any given moment, a majority of people could, boom, like that, make law, and now we've got the new law. They were concerned that in moments of passion, to which human beings are prone by nature, and sometimes passion's good, but often passion is bad. But in a moment of passion where we're no longer thinking rationally, but we're in the grip of emotions, anger, hatred, annoyance, it could be anything, people will do something that will undermine their own rights and interests or violate the rights of other people. So we need checks on power, even on democratic power. Just because majority of people want something doesn't mean it's right. The founders never went in for that idea that, oh, well, if the majority wants it, that makes it by definition right. They knew majorities could do wrong. The democracy could do wrong. So what are we going to do about that to minimize the risk? You can't completely eliminate it, but what can we do to minimize the risk? Well, we can put checks on power. Now, how do we do that? Well, here's what we'll do. We won't concentrate all power in a single individual or body, like a parliament with a prime minister. Instead, we will have distinct centers of power exercising power in different domains. So we'll have not a parliament with a prime minister, but we'll have a Congress consisting of a House of Representatives and a Senate, the legislative branch exercising the legislative power, which is separate from the executive, a president executing the laws, carrying out the laws made by the Congress, but a president who's independent and elected independently of the Congress. Notice the difference between our system and the parliamentary system. Parliamentary system, the parliament and the prime minister are part of the same body. The prime minister is elected by the parliament. We don't do it that way. We're going to separate the executive power and the legislative power, and we will enable them to check each other. So Congress can enact a law, but it needs the president's signature to become law. The president can veto it, but then if the president vetoes it, a supermajority in the Congress can override the veto. So we've separated executive and legislative power. And not just that. It's another really important idea. We're going to have an independent judiciary. It's not going to be part of the executive branch. It's not going to be part of one thing. It's not going to be monolithic. We're going to have, just as we have an executive branch exercising executive power, carrying out or executing the laws, and we have a Congress exercising legislative power, making the laws, we're going to have a separate judicial branch that doesn't make the laws and doesn't execute the laws, but resolves disputes about what the law means or what the law does by interpreting the law and applying them to the facts in the disputed case. The judges don't work for the president, and they don't work for the Congress. They are independent. So we have separate branches of government with their own powers, able to limit the power of others. And in this way, no branch and no officers, no human beings, are exercising unchecked power. Article 1 establishes Congress and vests all legislative power in Congress. Article 2 of the Constitution establishes the presidency and vests executive authority in the president. Article 3 establishes the judicial branch, one Supreme Court and such inferior courts as Congress shall from time to time ordain and establish, and vests the judicial power of the United States in that judiciary. We have independent branches of government limiting and checking each other. So it's not a pure democracy.